What's up, everybody? Alright, it has been a while. I've been so goddamn busy the last couple of weeks between my masters, between private teaching, between trying to have a life. It has not been easy, but I'm back, and this is a catch-up with Ronan. So let's talk about my weekend. This weekend, I was camping, and it was a slice. It's been a slice. Now that is the first expression that we're going to talk about. So it's been a slice. My friend from Winnipeg in Canada taught me this expression, and it basically means that you had a fun time. So if you're hanging out with friends and you're getting ready to leave, and you're in Canada, you might say to them, guys, it's been a slice, but I gotta go now. And it literally means it's been fun. A slice of what? Maybe a slice of cake? Honestly, I don't know. This expression was new to me the first time I heard it. Of course it was new to me the first time I heard it. Every expression is new to you the first time you hear it. Anyways, if you say it's been a slice, it basically means that you had fun. So right after you listen to this podcast, you might message me and say, Ronan, it's been a slice listening to you. And that means you enjoyed listening to this podcast. Anyways, let's get back on track because I've already wandered. So, this weekend I went camping and it was an absolute slice. It was a lot of fun. And now we're just going to talk about the camp trip, and hopefully you will learn some English as I do so. So it all started on Friday, and we went on a road trip. ROAD TRIP, road trip. And the collocation would be to take a road trip, to go on a road trip, or to have a road trip, for example. A road trip is a noun, and it basically is, I say basically a lot. A road trip is a noun, and it means that you are driving on the road for a set period of time, going somewhere, usually recreational or fun. So, for example, when you go on a road trip, you need to have road trip food or road trip snacks. You need to check your car before you go on a road trip. You need to get your music ready. Your road trip music, because let's be real, if you're driving for 3 or 4 hours, you want some good tunes. And because I live in Canada, when you go on a road trip, it's quite possible that you won't have any radio because you're going to be isolated, you're going to be in the mountains, and you just cannot pick up anything. So you need to have your road trip music downloaded in advance. Now, I don't know about you, but I love road trips. And in Canada, they are so majestic. 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 That's a nice adjective. Look it up. So, the road trips in Canada are a lot of fun. And this road trip took about 2 hours. It was a short road trip by Canadian standards. So to start off, we drove to a provincial park. A provincial park is just a big nature reserve, essentially. And the problem was, so basically there's 40 spots for camping in this provincial park. We arrived on Friday at about 1 o'clock and it was full. We could not believe it. Usually, when you go to a provincial park on a Friday afternoon, there might be 1 or 2 spaces left. And we could not believe that every single spot was taken at this provincial park. And there was 40 different spots to camp at, every single one taken. So we were pretty pissed off, we were pretty upset, and we were thinking, shit, where the hell are we going to camp? We don't really have a plan B right now. So that caught us off guard because we were convinced we'd have a spot to stay for a night. So anyways, we circled back, we went to a town called Chase, and we hit up the tourist centre and began to start our search for a new camp spot. And long story short, we found somewhere. And it was the best mistake ever. It was the best random find ever. We found this spot by chance. by chance. Now there is another great expression. If you find something by chance, you find it by mistake. You did not plan to find it. You did not know it was there, but it just happened. So I took out my phone. I Googled campsites near me, and we found this place. I gave them a call, and they said they had one spot left. And I just said on the phone, yo, we'll take it. I did not know anything about this campsite, nor did my friends, but we did not have many options because everywhere else was taken. So anyways, we get in the car, we hit the road. 1 hour later we arrive, and by God, we were over the moon because this campsite was goddamn perfect. It was amazing. And the best part is we found it by chance. I love finding things like this by chance. So let's talk about by chance for a while. You know, if you're in a new city, a city that you've never been to, you might just wander around and find a great restaurant by chance. I've done that many times. I'll gladly not look up restaurants in advance. I'll just walk around the city, find a place by chance, sit down and see if it's good or bad. You know, when I lived in Toronto, when I first arrived to Canada, I used to walk around the city and just look for jobs, because that's how you get jobs in Canada. And I remember finding this great English teaching job by chance. It wasn't advertised online, it was only advertised on the window of the school. So I walked in, I spoke to them, and long story short, I got the job by chance. I did not plan to find that job, I did not look for that job, it just happened by chance. I found this great book in the library by chance. You must read it. You know when you're in the library and you're just walking around and you find a good book by chance? That is a great experience. Maybe you meet or met someone by chance. I met my wife by chance. I was walking downtown and bumped into her, and the rest is history. I met my husband by chance in a bar. He spilled a drink on me, and next thing you know, 10 years later, we're getting married. Isn't that so romantic? So, by chance. If you find something by chance, you did not mean to find it. It just kind of happened. So anyways, back to the campsite. This campsite was absolutely gorgeous. It was very remote. It was very cut off. As soon as we pulled off the highway, we were surrounded by trees. And it was about a 20-minute drive away from the highway, which meant we could not hear any vehicles, which is what we love. This campsite was peaceful, secluded, picturesque, isolated, and quaint. Peaceful, secluded, picturesque, isolated, quaint. You should repeat these adjectives. Peaceful, secluded, picturesque, isolated, quaint. Secluded, S-E-C-L-U-D-E-D. If something is secluded, it's remote. There's no real shops around it. It's isolated. It's in the middle of nowhere. So secluded and isolated are very similar. And I love secluded. I love isolated camp spots. I do not want to be surrounded by people or cars or even technology. If you are in a really isolated place or a really secluded place, your phone won't work. You won't have any reception. You won't have any coverage on your phone. Picturesque. If something is picturesque, it is beautiful. Picturesque is an extreme adjective of beautiful. And we only use it for nature. We don't use it for people. We don't use it for movies. We don't use it for anything but just nature. You might say that this campsite is so picturesque. This mountain is so picturesque. Canada is a very picturesque country. I'm originally from Ireland, and Ireland is absolutely picturesque. I love it there. Can you think of a place in your country or your city that is picturesque? I bet you can. Quaint, Quaint. Quaint is another word for peaceful. Quaint is another word for quiet. Quaint is relaxing. And if a place is quaint, it's not noisy. If a place is quaint, it's relaxing. If a place is quaint, you enjoy being there and you're not stressed and you're not busy or anything like that. What I really enjoyed about this place? The stars. The stars were out of this world. Out of this world! That's another great idiomatic expression. If something is out of this world, it's fucking amazing. Excuse my language, but it is goddamn beautiful. It's the best thing in the world. And on the first night, and for part of the second night, we had a crystal clear sky. And the stars were out, and it was the most beautiful thing I've seen in a long time. You know, I live in a small town, so we have a lot of light pollution, unfortunately. But this place, because it was so isolated, because it was so remote, because it was so cut off, the stars were out of this world. You know, you might describe a movie as being out of this world. You might describe like the best dinner you've ever had or the best holiday you've ever been on as out of this world. Anyways, on the Saturday of our camp trip, we took the floaties out on the lake, like, you know, a little rubber boat that you blow up. You got a little donut that you can sit in as well, stuff like that. And we just sat on the water and we chilled the fuck out. To chill the fuck out is a vulgar expression, which means to relax. And it's like an extreme adjective of relax. So we chilled the fuck out on the lake and it was amazing. You know, if you don't want to use the vulgar version, just say we chilled out. And that's absolutely fine. But yeah, it was such a good weekend, such a good camp trip. I just love the way we found it by chance, which is, for me, one of the best ways to experience life is to just find things by chance, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I was skeptical at first. I did not think this campsite was going to be good. I am not usually a fan of these organized or these professional campsites. I love wild camping. But boy, I was wrong, and I've never been happier to be wrong. So on the way home, on Sunday, we drove home and we stopped off at a local farm. Now this is a farm I've been to a few times. It's like an organic farm and it's the best place to buy meat. Hands down, the greatest place to buy meat. They don't use any steroids or any additives for their meat or anything, so when you cook it, it does not shrink. And when you eat it, it is like the tastiest meat ever. The meat there is out of this world. It is gorgeous. It's the best meat I've ever had in my life. And that's saying something. I've had a lot of meat. So we stopped off at this farm to stop off at. If you stop off at somewhere, it's kind of like you pull over and you do something and you wait for a while. And it might not be your final destination. So we're driving home and we stop off at this farm. We stay for about 10-15 minutes, buy some meat, buy some eggs, and then we continue driving. You know, when you're driving your car, you might want to stop off at a gas station. You might want to stop off and get some coffee. And if you stop off at somewhere, it's just a small break. You know, I want to stop off at the next layover and stretch my legs. I've been driving for 7 hours, for example. So yeah, that's it, folks. That was my weekend. This is a catch up with Ronan. So let's just have some questions. You know, the best way to try and remember some of the things I've said or some of the things I try to teach you is to make your own sentences. So, for example, can you describe a road trip that you went on? You know, think about it. Who was there? Where did you go? When did you go? What was the weather like? How did you feel? Was the drive good, bad, quiet, or busy? Really try to put a couple of sentences together to talk about a road trip. What music do you listen to on a road trip? What snacks are essential for a road trip? These are some great questions for a road trip. Where do you want to go on your next road trip? Can you say something or can you write about it? Number 2, have you ever found something by chance? Have you ever found a great book by chance? Have you ever found a great restaurant by chance? Have you ever found a great place to stay or go on vacation by chance? Have you ever met someone by chance? Like if I'm in the supermarket and I accidentally meet my friend, I'll go home and say, hey, I met John by chance at the supermarket. We did not plan to meet at the supermarket. It just happened and we got talking, yada, yada, yada. So if you meet someone by chance, you meet them by accident. If you find something by chance, you find it by accident. And we found this campsite by chance, and it was the best by chance ever. Next was out of this world. If something is out of this world, it's amazing. It's like the greatest thing ever. If a restaurant is out of this world, it's like a really, really good compliment. That means the food was sensational. Sensational, great adjective. So yeah, for you, what movie was out of this world? For you, what experience have you had that was out of this world? What food for you is out of this world? Because for me, well, a lot of food is out of this world, but for me, this weekend, the experience was completely out of this world. The stars were amazing. I loved it. Anyways, gonna wrap it up here, guys. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you had a good podcast. My name's Ronan, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one, folks. I am out of here.